What's up, CtRacerX people? This is your boy CtRacerX. It is today, Monday. No, wait a second. Today is Tuesday, almost on its way to Wednesday, second week of August 2017. I don't really care about the date, but if you're caring, it's the 15th. And it is about 30 at night. And as you can see right there, where there used to be an Audi, there is in fact a Mini Cooper, 2006 Mini Cooper R53 supercharged car. I'm changing the oil in it, and yeah, so when I do service on people's cars, sometimes I let them borrow my car because I'm a cool guy like that. At any rate, so yeah, this is going to be a quick oil change job. The whole purpose of me doing part of this at night is because A, I really don't feel like dealing with the whole job tomorrow, and B, Mini Cooper has managed to make this one of the most tight oil changes in the history of oil changes. And I do mean like super tight. We're talking about like this much room to be able to get this socket in place in order to remove the oil filter. So stay tuned, get your gloves, get your tools. You're gonna have a lot of fun. All right, remember I told you guys this job sucks? Well, I'm not kidding. You really only have very little room to take this oil filter off, this oil filter housing off here. And you need to use, in this case I have a 1 7/16, but it's like a 36 millimeter socket, okay? As you notice, I've got a little Allen tool in here. I'm actually sticking that on here. What you're gonna need to do is just get a shorter or shallower socket and a driver in order to do it. Now this particular socket happens to be a 1-inch driver. At any rate, yeah, so now I can just go ahead and down here and just twist this guy off by hand. The other thing is, as you can see, this housing, ooh man, it's oily and stinky. I'll just pull this guy up here, hopefully not drip too much oil all over the place. But here's your oil filter housing. Now, you can probably, see how it's ridged? You probably can stick one of those oil filter wrenches on there and have at it that way. But this little nut section right here is just so much easier, so you know, do it that way. When you go to change the filter out, what you're going to need to do is make sure you take the filter cartridge out and this O-ring off and replace both of those, okay? Your oil filter kit, like Wix or MicroGuard or Hengst, or God knows however many oil filters there are out there, should have another O-ring as well as the filter cartridge. Okay folks, next step is to go ahead and jack your car up. You do have to jack your car up off the ground in order to have that getting the oil out of the oil pan, okay? It's my understanding that the oil bung is sort of near the passenger side of the car, so me jacking it up on the passenger side is probably not the best, but that's okay, because once I have the bung out of the bottom of the pan, I'm gonna lower the car down and let it drain. Okay, now it's time to take the oil out. Right here is the oil bung. Yeah, it's a 13 millimeter nut, so just go ahead and pull that out and you're good to go. All you gotta do is just go ahead and stick your wrench in here like so, and bam, that's it. Now, it is a good idea if you have a magnet to utilize this magnet on this, because otherwise you're going to wear this oil. There's really no way around this. It is absolutely a thankless and messy job. So if you have a magnet, you sort of get this thing a little loose like so, right before it's about to pop out. And there we go. And then you should be able to just kind of tweak it a couple of times and it'll come out. There she goes. Yeah, right. I'd rather it beat all over my magnet than all over me. So there we go, guys. Look at that. That oil's gonna go right into that drain, as it should. Okay, peeps. So I'm gonna put the oil pan bung back in here, put in some 5W40, and put a new oil filter in, and we're good to go. We'll call this a job well done. Now you might be saying to yourself, why are we putting 5W40 in this car? Mini Coopers are well-known oil burning cars. So In order to alleviate the burning of the oil, run a slightly higher grade oil, in this case a higher weight oil, and what that'll do is at least prevent or slow down the burning of the oil in the car. I mean, the only other way to do that is to change out the pistons and the rings, and I just don't think that that's necessary if the car's not broken, right? If it's running just fine, there's really no point, and if it's not excessively blowing smoke, then there's really no need to yank it all apart. So in case you missed this part earlier, the way you're gonna put the oil pan bung back in, let's go ahead and tighten this bolt up right here. And there is a certain bolt spec for that. I don't know it right off the top of my head. I have a tendency to do it 1/4 turn past, hand tight. And that's always safe, especially on a car, especially with parts that are made of aluminum, because the last thing you want to do is strip the threads. Okay, as you can see, I'm back. I've got my Rotella T6 5W40. Got my oil filter. Okay, housing. Anyways, what we're gonna do is go ahead and stick our new oil filter on here. This is a Wix brand oil filter, so we'll just slap this bad boy on here. Now it's got two different sides on it, so I'm gonna stick it in the way that it was there, which basically has this rubber side down and fat side up. Okay, now what's next is to go ahead and take this guy right here, which is our O-ring, and slap this O-ring on this body like so, slide it down. Now, as you know, with any type of O-rings and things like that, it's always a good idea to consider using a little bit of oil just to ensure that that O-ring threads into the space where it needs to go. And on top of it, the best part about it is that it makes sure that the O-ring itself is lubed enough to withstand being torqued down, because sometimes if they're not lubed enough or not stretchy enough and then they're torqued down, they can rip and break. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this all the way set in place, and then we're going to thread it back into the block. Okay, so we got our oil filter housing back bolted down to the car, as you can see there. 25 Newton meters, 31 Newton meters. So yeah, basically like a 1/12 of a turn past hand tight. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our oil. We need to use 4.75 quarts. I'm probably going to just round it up to 5, and we should be good to go there.